This demonstration we're going to look at audit logging in Microsoft Exchange Server 2019. The first thing we're going to have a look at is we're just going to have a look at admin audit logging, and admin audit logging allows us to see exactly what administrators have done on our system. So what I've done is I've just come into my Exchange Management shell, and in my Exchange Management shell I'm just going to issue a commandlet that will allow me to have a look at the admin audit log config. Now what we should see is that admin audit logging is enabled. With it being enabled, one of the things I can now do is just come to my Exchange Admin Center, come to my Compliance Management, and if we look at the Auditing tab, one of the things we can see here is we have the ability to run an admin audit log report. And if we run that, we can see the commandlets that have been run as part of that admin. And as you'll also notice, we can also specify a date range as well. So we can see exactly who did what, and we can see what they did it on. So if we have a look, for example, at set-mailbox, we can see here for Beth Burr, set-mailbox, and if we scroll it down, we can see at this point here, we can see that this object has been modified. And if we then have a look above this, if we have a look, we can see that also as well for Beth Burke, add-ad permission was applied, and what we've got is we've got send as, and somebody has specified a datum / administrator as the send as. So at this point here we can close this off. If we just look at recipients, and if we just look at Beth, one of the things we can see here, if we just come down to mailbox delegation, we can actually see that administrator has been set up as send as. So we discovered that by looking at an audit log. Another type of audit log we've got is a user type audit log, where we can see exactly what users have done, where maybe they've used elevated privileges. So let's just cancel this off. Let's just have a look at our shared mailboxes, and in our shared mailboxes let's look at info. So if we edit info, one of the things we can see is if we look at mailbox delegation, we can see that under the send as permission, Alan has the ability to send as. So let's say somebody receives an email from info@datum.com and they want to know who actually really did send that email. We could use auditing to find that out. So what we're going to do at this point here is we'll just cancel this off. We'll just close down our Exchange Admin Center. What we'll do is we'll just launch up now OWA, and what we'll do is we will log in as Alan and we'll send an email as info@datum.com. We'll then have a look at the audit logs to find out exactly who sent that email. So we'll just come back into Internet Explorer and we'll just log into OWA. So we're logged in as Alan. So the next thing we're going to do at this point is we're going to send a new email. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to come to the more actions, and in the case of the more actions, all we're going to do is we're going to show the from as well. And then what we're going to do is we'll just construct our email. So first things first, we'll just right click on Alan, we'll remove Alan, and what we'll do instead is we'll now use info@datum.com. We'll then send the email to alan@datum.com. And we'll just add in the subject. And then finally we'll just say this is an audit test. Now we've done that, next thing to do is just select send. And as we can see, we now have an email, and for all intents and purposes that email came from info. So what we actually want to find out is who did send that email, and we'll do that by looking at the audit logging. So we'll just come out of OWA and we'll go back in the Exchange Admin Center. So we're in Exchange Admin Center, so we'll now come to Compliance Management. We'll just come to Auditing, and then what we'll do is we'll run a non-owner mailbox access report. And then what we'll do is we'll click on the drop down and we'll go for all non-owners. And what we'll do is we'll do a search and we're looking for info. So now we'll go info, so that has popped up. So what we can see is mailbox access info, time was early in the morning. And if we scroll this down, what we have is we have performed by Alan Yu and signed in as user with delegate access. Operation was send as, subject was testing, send as logging, and it succeeded. So at this point here we can see that that email that came through from info was actually sent by Alan. And that's the end of this demonstration of looking at auditing within Exchange Server 2019.